I'm Junior from the Board of Doom.
And I'm Big Papa Grump, and this is what happened was from Takeover Orlando. Right. First match of the evening was the mixed 8-person tag match between Sanity, Roderick Strong, Ty Dillinger, Ruby Riott, and No Way Jose, or not. They threw Cassius Ohno in there because apparently No Way Jose just doesn't get to be on pay-per-views anymore. I thought the match was good. Thought it was okay. I mean, there were some decent spots in it. Roderick Strong just went ape the whole time. He just went ham for a while, which was kind of nice to see. I liked Ruby Riott. I thought she was kind of, her and Nikki Cross. They were a little. They weren't tight early, but they got better as the match went on, and that her just basically selling herself for that off the top rope onto Nikki Cross later in the match was cool.
Unfortunately with them, it just seemed that their entire spots was, oh my god, she came out of nowhere after they were attacking the other members of their teams. Because Nikki would always, back when Sanity on like the NXT, she'd always jump on whoever was about to get the leads back, and then they tried that, and then Ruby jumped on the other guy. It was Dane, I think. And then they were like, and then Nikki Cross had to rip her off, and it just seemed all the spots were weird, kind of, not really mistimed, but kind of lame in and of themselves.
As far as now I like Cassius Ohno, but I didn't really think that his involvement was to get him involved in the pay-per-view, but I wasn't overly excited about anything he was doing. Right. I mean, he didn't look bad. He looked like Cassius Ohno. He looks like Cassius Ohno always does. But I wasn't like Cassius Ohno. I didn't go like mental for him being there. The one thing that I did like, just to flip back over to Sanity, though they could be the Wyatts, early Wyatts, or whatever insert stable you like here for NXT, especially if they decide to have Nikki Cross become a serious contender for the Women's Championship, and then have Big Dame, Killian Kane, or Damian Kane, whatever the hell's name is, Killian Dane, and Alexander Wolf go after the tag belts, and then you could have Eric Young, and we'll get to this later about the lack of a real contender beyond Shinsuke for Bobby Roode's championship. But you could build Eric Young up to be a threat. They need a little bit more time. This is the kind of win that they needed. The one spot that you caught, I had looked down at my phone to, because I'm very busy with social media. I'm that guy. But I looked down and I didn't catch it at first, was how the match ended. With the move that ended the match.
Killian Dane using basically the one-winged angel, which is, if you don't know, Kenny Omega from New Japan's finisher, who everybody's...
Roderick Strong, Ty Dillinger, Ruby Riott, and No Way Jose, or not. They threw Cassius Ohno in there because apparently No Way Jose just doesn't get to be on pay-per-views anymore. I thought the match was good. Thought it was okay. I mean, there were some decent spots in it. Roderick Strong just went ape the whole time. He just went ham for a while, which was kind of nice to see. I liked Ruby Riott. I thought she was kind of, her and Nikki Cross. They were a little. They weren't tight early, but they got better as the match went on, and that her just basically selling herself for that off the top rope onto Nikki Cross later in the match was cool.
Unfortunately with them, it just seemed that their entire spots was, oh my god, she came out of nowhere after they were attacking the other members of their teams. Because Nikki would always, back when Sanity on like the NXT, she'd always jump on whoever was about to get the leads back, and then they tried that, and then Ruby jumped on the other guy. It was Dane, I think. And then they were like, and then Nikki Cross had to rip her off, and it just seemed all the spots were weird, kind of, not really mistimed, but kind of lame in and of themselves.
As far as now I like Cassius Ohno, but I didn't really think that his involvement was to get him involved in the pay-per-view, but I wasn't overly excited about anything he was doing. Right. I mean, he didn't look bad. He looked like Cassius Ohno. He looks like Cassius Ohno always does. But I wasn't like Cassius Ohno. I didn't go like mental for the for him being there. The one thing that I did like, just to flip back over to Sanity, though they could be the Wyatts, early Wyatts, or whatever insert stable you like here for NXT, especially if they decide to have Nikki Cross become a serious contender for the women's championship, and then have Killian Kane or Damian Kane, whatever the hell's name is, Killian Dane, and Alexander Wolf go after the tag belts, and then you could have Eric Young, and we'll get to this later about the lack of a real contender beyond Shinsuke for Bobby Roode's championship. But if you could build Eric Young up to be a threat, they need a little bit more time. This is the kind of win that they needed. The one spot that you caught, I had looked down at my phone to, because I'm very busy with social media. I'm that guy. But I looked down and I didn't catch it at first, was how the match ended. With the move that ended the match.
Killian Dane using basically the one-winged angel, which is, if you don't know, Kenny Omega from New Japan's finisher, who everybody's...
Overall, happy that Sanity went over. I picked them to go over. I think them going over was the right move. But, hey, we'll see, because unfortunately the downside of that is Ty Dillinger loses yet again. He's like a perfect 0 for 10 on pay-per-views, I think. But yeah.
He might be.
Then we come up to the second match of the night, which is the one I was kind of looking forward the least, which is Aleister Black versus Sienna Almas. And the reason I say I was looking at seeing this one the least is because Sienna Almas, not my favorite guy, but a guy with a lot of talent who, much like Ty Dillinger, just seems to be there to put other guys over. And it doesn't necessarily seem like it's not a waste of talent yet, because there's still plenty of upside and plenty of time for both of those guys. But, as soon as Aleister Black's debuting and he's wrestling Sienna Almas, all right, you could check off Aleister Black is getting the win, because WWE rarely, they can almost guarantee you two things. One, if you're wrestling in your hometown and your name doesn't start with Dwayne, you're going to lose. And second, if you're debuting on a pay-per-view, you're going to win. So, Fandango went over Chris Jericho. So, but your thoughts on the match overall?
Unfortunately, not that it was a bad match, but I do think it was the weakest of the night, in my opinion. I didn't like Almost losing, because they've built him up over, ever since the Takeover loss to Strong, they've kind of let him win every single match on NXT. He beat Ho-Ho Loon, he beat Oni Larson, or Lorcan, he beat all of them, and he just kept winning. And then he goes and he says something that, Aleister Black's going to debut, who's that? I'm the best, I've traveled the world, I win everywhere. And he loses, which I think if he, I understand your point with the whole, they debut on a pay-per-view, they win, but I really think that Cien should have gone over, because they built him up so much that kind of derails his momentum for a while.
Yeah, I think it's more of an indictment on the way that they're booking those guys as far as where they put them, because any other match, you could have had a legit notion that Sienna Almas was going over. With Ty Dillinger against anybody in any other mixed tag match, you would say, okay, his team has a chance. I think that's why they threw Cassius Ohno in there, because it's they got a legit chance to beat. Because no way Jose ain't going to do it, because he's got, his theme song's great, but they've done absolutely nothing with I do like the theme song.
He's good in the
I'm not questioning. There's really no one in NXT whose talent I question, but you kind of, you're starting to see where they fall in the pecking order, and unfortunately because the internet loves them some Ty Dillinger, the internet hates them some Sienna Almas, but I like Sienna Almas. I'm not not buy a shirt level, but I do like watching him in the ring. He's getting better. I think they need to tweak his character a little bit, and they've been working on that. They've been having him win. His attitude's been a little darker. So but again, they had to sacrifice somebody to Sanity. They had to sacrifice somebody to Aleister Black, who, by the way, I thought he was fine. His weird Nosferatu to kind of weird, kind of standing up, like Undertaker, Hannibal Lecter, like thing that where he came up was a little strange, but at least it was different. You know, I mean, he would have probably just been the same had he just walked out looking menacing. With the moonsault onto the floor, I thought was a nice spot. The fact that he kicks a lot
all of the time.
He's like the Young Bucks all to himself. He's awfully kicky. Let's just put it that way. So with the Black Mass finisher, first of all, the name is awesome, but it's a spinning heel kick. He kicks somebody in the face. I watch Asuka do that pay-per-view after pay-per-view. So again, he's awfully kicky, and I'm cool with that. But yeah, like it was a serviceable. It was a nice match. It wasn't great. And then we get to, for the NXT Championships, the Authors of Pain defending against DIY and the Revival in an elimination triple threat match, which, for the third straight pay-per-view, at least, I didn't really do research on that, the tag match stole the show. And we're going to get into detail on it, but it was once DIY was eliminated, it almost, because the crowd was partly responsible, not that I blame them, but it just sucked the life out of the match, even though I wanted to see, even if it didn't mean that DIY was eliminated, maybe they were just dead outside, but I wanted to see Authors of Pain and Revival go at it for a while. The crowd really wanted it to come down to DIY and the Revival, match of the year last year. You know, and they put on 2 classics, so I guess it was the 3rd out of 4th pay-per-views. Yeah, right. But yeah, so they it was a great match early on. I loved the spot with the power bomb into the starting off the match where they all kind of just turned to each other and were looking, and then they both kind of, each team went after the Authors of Pain. I thought it was great storytelling in the ring. The cooperation, not cooperation. Oh, now we got to cooperate back and forth. I think was great. I'm gonna let you talk now.
And I do like the table spot because DIY had it out and they were gonna put I think it was Razor, because I think they went after Razor and the Revival took out Akam, and it doesn't really matter, they're interchangeable.
Yeah, I just got one on the right, one on the left. I thought that the fact that they didn't really rehash a whole lot of spots between DIY and the Revival was nice, that it was a lot of different stuff. The finishers.
Oh, yeah. Doing,
favorite spot of the night.
When, because they had Authors of Pain down, and, Johnny Gargano, I think he took one of them down, and they had him on his knees, so they were going to set up for DIY's finisher, which is the double running knee into their head. And it was funny because you saw, I believe it was Gargano and Dawson? Yeah, because Dash and Ciampa did. Okay. So you had Gargano and Dawson looking at each other like they were about to go at it. And then Dawson kind of had this way, and he pointed to, I believe it was Razor on his ground, and they did that. And then Akam came in to like try to clean up, and you see Ciampa lift up him, and then Dash does his part of the Revival's finisher, which I do not remember what either is called. Unfortunately, so
yeah, so they go and then once and the submission spot was nice too. Authors of Pain powering out of it and then eliminating DIY and then just dominating the Revival. It really puts Authors of Pain over as a force to be reckoned with. Which is why I think that you're going to see. I mean, you'll probably see DIY get another run at them. I still think the Revival's coming up to the main roster sooner rather than later. I still think that if they're building them up this way, mostly to send Sanity after them. I mean, I think that's going to be the next big feud for them, because there's really, I mean, unless TM61 is like ready to come back really soon, I think you're going to see DIY maybe make another run, and then maybe use TM61 while they still build up Sanity. But you're going to see by but you're going to see either before the Takeover Philly or the Takeover before WrestleMania, you're going to see probably whatever combination of Sanity isn't Eric Young and Nikki Cross, because I still don't know if the other guys are going to come back or if they're going to stick with Big Damo. But who I will just continue to call him Big Damo.
Because Killian Dane's too...
Because Killian Dane is too hard to remember, and I watched WCPW a little bit, and he was Big Damo. So I'm going to just do that.